First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to the elect. This is Brother Lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And the topic I want to go into in this lesson, man, is if you celebrate Halloween, you're wicked. Okay? All right. If you celebrate Halloween, man, in 2024, all right, where information is readily accessible to you, and it should be common sense that Halloween is a day, is a festival to venerate wickedness. Okay, all right. There's nothing godly about this holiday. All right, it reveres and pays homage to witchcraft. Okay, consulters of familiar spirits, vampires. You know what I'm saying? Ghouls and goblins and ghosts. All these things that the scriptures tell us to stay the fuck away from. Okay. All right. So if you're celebrating this festival day, this holiday, so-called holy day, in 2024 with all this information out, you are wicked. Okay? Unless you repent, the Lord is going to destroy your ass. All right? Shouldn't have to be explained, but periodically every year, okay, we got to break down not to celebrate Christmas, not to celebrate Thanksgiving, not to celebrate Halloween, not to celebrate January 1st, so-called New Year's. We break it down every year, and then every year you see niggas following after the same shit, man. Okay, so just putting this out here, man. Hey, just rebuking that Halloween shit, man. That shit is going off. All right. So, hey, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I just looked up the origins of Halloween. This is literally first page Google, man. Okay, the History Channel has a piece on it and everything, man. All right, it says Halloween's origins can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which was celebrated on November 1st. The Celts believed that Samhain marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of winter, a time associated with death. Okay, now as you go further down, okay, all right, it says they had bonfires, to guide souls to the afterlife and to keep evil spirits away. Okay, it's basically a ritual. Okay, it says dancing around the bonfires. It says practices to communicate with the spiritual realm. Okay, costumes made from animal heads and skins to confuse spirits and avoid being terrorized. Okay, which we see, people are into that shit, man. Even to this day, man. People are into divination. They're into, going to the fortune teller. They're into dressing up in Halloween costumes and going trick or treating. Where this has its origin in a pagan festival, man. Okay. It says the Celts believed that the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest on Samhain, and that the spirits of the dead would return to the earth. Okay, which is bullshit because the scriptures say that the spirit returned to the Most High who made it. Okay, or who gave it. All right. Okay, so then it also says Roman influence, the Roman festival of Feralia, which involved mourning the dead, and the ceremony of Pomonia, which honored fruits and trees. It says jack-o'-lanterns, the Irish tradition of carving scary faces into turnips and potatoes to frighten away evil spirits. Some believe that this tradition, which that's talking about jack-o'-lanterns, and then it says trick-or-treating. Some believe that this tradition came from the Celts, which would give spirits gifts to appease them. Okay, all right. This is the origin of this holiday, man. Consulting and reverencing the dead, man. Okay. All right. Dressing up in costumes to ward away the dead and communicating with familiar spirits, man. All right. Spirits from the afterlife. That's what this holiday venerates. Okay. All right. Now this is from the History Channel. Ages ago, in history. Okay. It says, when is Halloween in 2024? It says Halloween is celebrated each year on October 31st. Halloween 2024 takes place on Thursday, October 31st, which is tomorrow. Okay, it says Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celt festival of Samhain. The Celts who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated this their new year on November 1st, which is going off because that's not the new year. Okay. It says the day marked the end of summer and the harvest at the beginning of the dark, cold winter, and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. Celts believe so they're venerating a time of the year associated with death. Okay. All right. It says Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth. Okay. This is the origins of this festival. Okay, it says in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the druids or the Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during a long, dark winter. So they would communicate with the dead. Okay, all right, because they believed that the veil between the spirit and the physical realm was thinnest at that time. Okay, so they would consult these spirits to give them, fortune on what was going to happen. Okay, idolatry, all things that scriptures tell us, the scriptures tell us not to do, man. All right, it says to commemorate the event, Druids built sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn corn and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities, man. So idol worship, man. Okay, all right, and I can guarantee you they probably went out into the woods to do this. Okay, which the scriptures talk about, how the Canaanites would go into the groves, man, and how our people would follow after that, going into the groves to do all type of ceremonies, man, witchcraft ceremonies. All right, it says during the celebrations, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animals' heads and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortune. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. Okay, so this is the origin of this holiday, man. All wickedness and witchcraft, man. It says by AD 43, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory, and they basically assimilated their beliefs. Okay, took part of some of those beliefs and began to celebrate it too. It says in the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Ferelia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day of honor, Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is an apple, and the incorporation of the celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. Okay, so straight up idolatry, man, worshiping other deities. Okay, all right, and then eventually it became associated because of Christianity. Okay, with the saints. Okay, still wickedness, man. At the end of the day, you should no nobody in their right mind should be celebrating this holiday, man. Okay, all right, let's go into the scriptures, man. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9. Okay, all right, it says spiritism forbidden. That's what the heading says. So what is spiritism? Okay, another term for spiritualism. Let me see here. Go ahead and just Google search it. Spiritism is a belief system that posits the existence of a spiritual world that can be accessed by the living through mediums. Okay, so like a fortune teller, okay, a witch, okay, a sage, a shaman. You go to them and they access the spiritual realm for you to give you fortunes and tell you what the ancestors are saying. Okay. All right, it says, when thou art coming, this is Deuteronomy 18 and 9. It says, when thou art coming to the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. These are some of those abominations. Matter of fact, let's look up the word abomination before we even get into it, man. Okay? This shit is an abomination to the Lord. I don't understand how niggas still doing this shit, man. You know, how motherfuckers could be doing this with this information readily available, man. But the Lord did say the rest were blinded, man. Okay, Strong's H8441. All right, and it's Thawaiba. Okay, Thawaiba. All right, and it says a disgusting thing, abomination, abominable in a ritual sense of unclean foods, idols, and it says mixed marriages, which we can take of the heathen. Okay, we're just not supposed to worship their gods. Okay, the men of our nation are allowed to take of the heathen. We're just not supposed to worship their gods. Okay, it says an ethical sense of wickedness. Okay, so these customs are wicked. They are an abhorrence. They're a disgusting thing in the eyes of the Lord, man. Okay, it says especially idolatry. All right, it says here Deuteronomy 18:10. It says, I'll start at verse 9 again. It says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out before you. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times and unto diviners, but as for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee to do so. Okay? All right, so these are things that the Lord hates, man. All right, you got people out here dressing up in costumes, dressing up like wizards and vampires and zombies and, you know what I'm saying? Dressing up in, like ghouls and goblins and shit. Okay? Dressing and putting fortune teller decorations and, you know, ghosts and venerating spirits, man. Okay? The Lord is not fucking with that shit, man. Okay? Venerating the dead, man. This holiday goes back to, venerating the dead, man. Communicating with familiar spirits, practicing witchcraft, man. Okay? That's what this holiday is reverencing, man. Reverencing idols. Okay? Worshiping different gods, man. So that you could get a good harvest. When the Lord already told us, man, if we serve the Lord in Deuteronomy 28, he already told us what time it is, man. That's why the Lord was so hot, man. You know, the Lord brought these curses upon us because we decided as a nation we want to go worship the fertility goddess of this nation and go do this festival ritual so we could get a good harvest or get some good rain, or, you know what I'm saying, you know, we can have fertility in our womb and go get riches and wealth. When the Lord told us if we obey him, he going to make us plenteous in the work of our hands. Okay? But Jake wanted to do the opposite. Now here we are in Babylon getting afflicted, man. Okay, with Esau got his boot on our fucking neck, man. Okay, it says in Deuteronomy 28:1, it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee if thou hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Okay? All right? And then you jump down to verse 11. It says, and the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of the body, and in the fruit of the cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hands, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Okay? All right, so if we just follow the Lord like he commanded us to do, he promised that he was going to give us these things anyway. Okay? All right, but Jake wanted to follow after the ways of the heathen, which the Lord says, go not after the way of the heathen, man. Okay? And be not dismayed at the sign of heaven. Okay? That's what the heathen would do. Oh, damn, the winter solstice is coming and it's going to be cold and we're not going to have, you know, harvest and fruit. We gotta go into the mountains and in the forest and do a sacrifice or the spirits of our gods and all this dumb shit, man. All you gotta do is serve the Lord and do right by Him. And He gonna make sure that you have plenteous enough to make it through the fall and the winter anyway, man. Oh, but the spring equinox is coming, and we gotta go into the grove and into the mountains to go worship Ashtaroth and do all these goofy ass sacrifices and shit, hoping that you get some rain. Well, all you gotta do is do what the Lord commanded us to do, and He gonna give us rain anyway. How about that? How about keep it simple? Stupid. Okay. Yeah, that's what the heathens was doing, worshiping a million different gods. They gotta worship a god, one god to go out to battle, hoping they win. They gotta worship another god to hope that they get a fruitful womb. They gotta go worship another god to help with a famine. They gotta go worship another god to hope that they, what I'm saying, they get some good crops. They gotta worship another god. When the Lord just said, "Hey, just worship me. That's it. I'm gonna take care of everything else." Okay. All right, Jeremiah 10:1, it says, "Hear ye the word of the Lord, which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, man. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of a forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe." Okay? All right, that's that idolatry, man. The heathen, they see the seasons are changing. You know, the seasons are changing. They're dismayed at the signs. They see, okay, damn, it's getting ready to be fall just based off the position of this star, this particular, constellation or whatever the fuck a heathen does. Okay, the seasons are changing. They're dismayed. Now they gotta go worse. They gotta go build an idol, hoping that they can make it through this particular season and prosper. Okay, that's where all this bullshit goes back to. Halloween, Christmas, January 1st, so-called New Year's, man. Easter. All goes back to these heathen customs, man. You should not be doing this shit. The Lord commanded us to stay away from this fucking shit, man. Why would you reverence a day that people dress up as blood drinking creatures, man? The fuck would you do that, man? Dressing up as devils and ghouls and goblins and ghosts. What is venerable about that, man? Okay? Hey, this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and verse 22. It says, "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices," this is talking about the Canaanites, "and used secret ceremonies." I wouldn't be surprised if this Samhain Halloween bullshit involved child sacrifice, man. Okay, because that's what a lot of them heathen was doing, man. Okay, make a bonfire and then sacrifice a child, man. Sacrifice some children, sacrifice some women or something like that, and animals. Hoping that they will get a good harvest, or what I'm saying, their land will be fruitful, or they'll get some rain. Okay, it says, "And used secret ceremonies and made revelings of strange rites, man. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one of them slew another treacherously or grieved him with adultery." Okay, this is what they would do, man. All right, worshiping idols, man. All right, it says, "So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumult, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kinds, disorder in marriage, adultery, and shameless uncleanness," man. So all of that goes back to what idol worship. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. You see that? All right, that's what idolatry leads to, man. Mass wickedness. Okay, strange behavior, man. Revelings, and you see people on a Halloween night, man. They start acting crazy. They go out, they get their costumes on, start acting bugged out and weird. They get high and drunk, go all these parties and clubs, commit a bunch of fucking adultery, man. The murder rate goes up the roof in one night, or for the next week, the murder rate just skyrockets, you know. They get drunk, go do all type of orgies, take all kind of drugs. They send their kids out trick or treating. and some asshole puts a rusty nail in the candy, hoping to hurt somebody, or replaces the candy with some type of drug, hoping to hurt somebody, you know, egging houses, taking toilet paper, destroying some shit, looting. That's what the fuck happened. Want to know why? Because it's idol worship, man. It's the worship of false deities, man. Evil spirits, man. Okay? From worshiping the dead. That's what the fuck that is, man. And the Lord wants us to turn away from that, man. All right, this is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. It says, "For as much then as Hamashiach hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind, for he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the lust of the in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you." Okay, and that's what Halloween is, man. It's lasciviousness. It's associated with lust. Scantily clad women wearing demonic costumes. Okay, excess of wines and all type of wild parties and idolatry, man. All abomination before the Lord, man. Okay. All right, and if you can't let this shit go, man, the Lord's gonna destroy you, man. All right, this is Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. It says, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High." So if you're an Israelite and you're practicing this wicked holiday, okay, all right, the Lord is gonna fuck you up, man. Okay, and you see it every year. Somebody goes missing. Okay, murder rates up the roof. Strung out on drugs. It's always some fuck shit, man, that happens that happens around this time of year, man. Okay, but you have Jake still doing it, man. If you don't leave that shit alone, man, if you don't drop this idol worship shit, you will die, man. Okay, and you're gonna come back in the kingdom shamefaced. Matter of fact, lake of fire, you motherfucking idol worshiping bitches, man. Tired of you motherfuckers, man. All right. This is Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. It says, "But the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire which burneth." I'm sorry, in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Okay? So guess what, man? If you can't let this fuckery go, this Samhain Halloween shit go, all right, you're gonna die in the lake of fire, man. When the nuclear missiles get shot off from Russia and Iran and China and all these nations that will turn against America and fire nuclear missiles over here, you're gonna die in that nuclear destruction, man. And the Lord's gonna come with his chariots as well to light this bitch up, man. You fucking idol worshippers, man. Okay? When the fuck did the Lord say this shit was okay, man? Since when was this cool? All right? All right, you're gonna die, man. You better fucking repent. All right, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect. Shalom.